Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mike Kollin at MikeKollin.com. Alright, so first I want to start out with I had a really wonderful session with a young lady, Elizabeth, and it was a really good session that we did. You know, I want to say something. I remember hearing it from other people over the years. You hear them saying it to people that they've worked with. But I understand it now because I'm on the other side of the fence. It is an absolute honor to work with you guys. Elizabeth, it was an absolute honor working with you. And you may not realize it, but you're an angel. I got to work with an angel today. Now, you guys might think I'm joking, but I'm not. I'm really... I'm honored to work with some people. There's some people that is just an absolute delight to work with. I love my job. I love the work that I do, and I love the people that I work with. Okay, so I want to introduce what this video is going to be about. It's basically going to be two sections. Number one, for those people who have been wounded in their heart, I mean, where you feel like you're never going to heal from it, you're never going to be happy again. This is all a part of the journey. It is all a part of the healing process. Now you're saying, oh, well, you don't understand. Oh, I understand. I went through it for years. I mean, a long time. It is a darkness that you can't explain to someone who's never been through. So I might be out of it now, but it wasn't. In fact, it was just behind me when I was going through it, and it went on for so long. I thought, oh, this is never going to end. It makes you feel like life is over. So the first thing I want to say, it is not unending. There is an end to it, and there is a light at the end of this tunnel, and it is bright and it is beautiful. Keep going no matter what. Just keep going. So the second part of this video is going to be simply about God did not fail. Now I know some of you, okay, a lot of us at one point in time, probably not one point but multiple points, and in the last 5 years, probably for years, you're just like, God doesn't care, God's not there, God disappeared. You don't feel like He's answering your prayers. You're like, why won't you save me from this? Why won't you take me out of the fire? It's a part of the process, and you're going, well, it's easy for you to say. No, it wasn't easy for me to say 12 months ago and before that. Just to let you know, the music will go down in about 15 seconds. Okay, so here's something I want to go over before I start on all of this, because it does apply to everything I just mentioned. So a lot of you, how do I say this? Or a lot of people might think, well, you know, God's not there, God doesn't love me. And a lot of you were taught wrongly by church members, and a lot of them weren't tuned in at all, that God is a judgmental God, that God is basically going to punish you and hurt you. I'm telling you right now, that's not God. God is a loving God. The being that's going to hurt you and punish you, or wants to, is Satan, or the evil one, whatever you want to call it. I don't even like to use that word. So those are all lies and manipulations and tricks to get you to move away from God. All of it is. It's all these things that have been thrown at you are tests. Not necessarily just tests, but it's trying to, like, well, how can I lead them off path? Well, if I can convince them that God's going to punish them for all eternity, they're probably going to want to hide from God and run away from God. God loves you. God loves you for all eternity. His love is pure. Okay, think of the time when you saw just the most beautiful, sweetest, cutest little baby, and I mean just like 6-month, 9-month-old baby, or maybe 1 or 2 year old, little child. What do you want to do? You just want to hold them. You want to protect them. You want to love them. You want to cuddle them. That's how God feels about you. When God sees you, you got to understand, compared to God, you are like an infant. You are this beautiful, bright, pure, clean child. You're this infant, you're this baby, you're this 2-year-old that has the just cutest eyes, cutest nose, cutest smile, and God loves you with all his heart, with all his soul, and with all his light. See, the thing you got to understand is God sees the real you. God sees the purity in you. Let me paint a picture for you a little bit here. It's really easy. Think of a little cute little infant baby or 2-year-old child. It's just beautiful. There's this emanating bright white light coming from that little child. That's you. That's how God sees you. You ever seen just the cutest smiling baby that's just so happy and peaceful and lovable and cuddly? It's just like, that's you. That's how God, it's not, I don't want to say that's how God sees you. That's how you are. And that's what God sees. You. So all that punishment stuff. All right, here's what happens. So you get narcissists, or you get damaged people who were damaged by other damaged people. And oh, you're no good. Oh, you're no good SOB. And all these horrible things. I mean, sometimes some parents will tell their children the word because the parent is damaged. They're just damaged goods. And I'm not even judging them. What I'm trying to say is this is how it all starts. Someone convinces you that you're no good because they constantly... See, look, we are projectors. We project who we are onto other people. So one of the biggest problems for empaths is we want to love everybody. We see everybody as loving. They could be the most evil person in the world, and we don't see that. We see a reflection of ourselves on others. And that's a lesson that we have to learn. And that's a lesson that we've been learning over the last 5 years or so, worldwide. Not everybody is like us. That is one of the, like, wait a minute. So why, because our blindness to narcissists, even though they've abused us for decades, is that we just, in a million years, we couldn't believe that they would do these horrendous things. So what we do is we filter it through our own sense of who we are. Oh, well, they didn't mean that. They were just probably in a bad mood. They must have had a really bad day, or somebody must have been really mean to them right before they came and saw me, and that's why they were mean to me or did that horrendous thing. It's like, no. For whatever reason, right or wrong, no judgment, that's just who they are. That's just where they're at in life. So one of the lessons I teach people is you need to see people for who they are, the good and the bad. So you can go, okay, so this is who this person is. And if they're bad, you got to walk away. Now, Elizabeth helped me with a different way of kind of a template. I'm gonna give it to you guys. It's very similar template. Remember, I ran into a girl on the Golden Gate Bridge, and she hugged me because she got her phone back. I helped her find her phone, etc., to retrieve it, etc. She was just like, she hugged me, and like these little cute little white balls of love and joy went into my solar plexus. It had a little smiley face, and it kind of ping-ponged around, but in a very loving, happy, joyful way. And I was like, wow, what is this? As I was riding my bike across the Golden Gate Bridge, leaving her, I was halfway across, and I stopped. I'm like, what is this? Because I could still feel it. And I looked out across the ocean to the sunset, and I realized that's a good person. That was my template to compare everyone. Because before, as I said, if you watch my last 2 videos, this video will make sense, okay? All we knew was abuse. All we knew was trying to get people to be nice to us, trying to convince someone that we're a good person, trying to work hard that, love me, trying to chase people to get them to love you and to be good to you, such as your husband, your wife, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, or whatever, or even a good friend or best friend. And it's like, look, that's not a friend. That's not someone who loves you. If you have to, I'm going to write this down. If you have to work to get someone to love you, that is not love. They don't love you. Walk away. Now think about it. What do? You love people freely. You just love them to love them. You help them because they need help. You're good to them just because you want to make people happy. That's a healthy relationship. You need to be with other people who bring this light into your life, who bring happiness and joy. If they're like, oh, you need help, here, I'll help you. Oh, you're hurting emotionally. I'll love you. I'll help you get through this. I'm here. I'm on your side. This should be automatic. It should be God, how to explain this? If people don't love you freely, if you feel like you have to convince them to love you or do something to get them to love you, I'm telling you that is not a loving person. They need help, they need healing, they need therapy, whatever. Get away from. If you're an empath, you deserve to be loved. And that is our lesson here on this planet. To have people reciprocate freely back to us what we freely give to them. All the way back to the caveman era, we had to give and receive, otherwise you couldn't survive. It is a reciprocal thing. If people just take and take and take, and that's what we do. We give and give and give. Oh, you don't got to give anything back. And you're right. You don't give to receive. You give because, they need help. And then when you need help, they should be there for you. And if they're not, that's the person you stop helping. That's the person you stop giving to. So one of the biggest lessons in all of this, I'm going to title this as the first piece that I've kind of already said. It's about the wounded heart. You get hurt so bad that one day you just feel like darkness. Like literally, it feels like your heart died. Everything is black. Everything is dark. There's just no love. You don't feel love. You can't open up to love. Well, essentially what happened is a narcissist hurt you bad enough and you got stuck in your left brain and now you're afraid to open up to feelings. Well, again, this is one of the lessons. You have to see people for who they are. If people are damaging you, get away. Cut them out of your life. And then find good, sweet, kind. Here's 3 words, like when that girl hugged me, this is what hit me. Kind, gentle, and loving. Write those words down. When you are with someone, you should have clarity. You should have peace. You should feel good. When you walk away from them, same thing. You should feel good about yourself. You should have peace. You should have clarity. You should have a gentle feeling in your heart. If you walk away feeling doubt, confusion, why did they say that? Like I'm telling you right there, your brain and your heart's already telling you that's not good. So essentially you need to get around people that are more heart-based people, that are loving, that are kind, that are giving, that are just good people like you. The template I gave you was that when that girl hugged me, it was just, she just did it out of her own free will, and these little cute little white balls went into me, and had little smiley faces and soft, round, cute, that's just full of happiness, love, and joy. That's kind of like ping-ponging throughout my belly and my heart. And that's my template. That's how I should feel when I'm with someone, even if it's a best friend or a buddy. You should have these really good feelings about them. And you should have the really good feelings inside you as well. Alright, so another template that someone gave me that really, it kind of changed my, my perspective, my image of a church, okay? She loves her church. She found this new church. I don't remember when she went there, or how long ago, but the way she's, oh, Michael, it's so beautiful, and the pastor, he's so grounded, he's so spiritual, and when you go there, the people are loving, and the image that was getting painted was this beautiful white heavenly light just shining from this church, this peaceful, loving kindness. And it's those 3 words. It was that kind, gentle, and loving. And the next word would be light. So what I told her is, that's what you need to compare. I said that's your template that you need to compare to the next person you get into a relationship with. That's how you should feel when you're with them, when you walk away from them, when you come back. This is the template. If you're with someone and you feel hurt, anger, confusion, doubt, darkness in your heart, sadness, your body tightens up and you don't feel, I'm telling you, that is not the template. That's the wrong template. The template, or the image to compare it to, is those emotional feelings of that church, or like that young lady that hugged me, that cute little feeling I had inside. It was just wonderful. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because most of us that are empaths, all we've ever known is punishment, hurt, lies, gaslighting, the fake love bombing, the devaluation phase, ghosting, and then hoovering, and then repeating this toxic cycle. And the invalidation, it's like we'll say something, they invalidate. Oh, that's not true. That didn't happen. And it hurts inside. See, when you feel that sting, that's telling you, get away. I am telling you, you can be happy, okay? You have to, write this down. Walk away from bad, go towards good. Period. It's that simple. Write it down. Now, here's been the biggest mistake in the church. The biggest mistake in the church is that left brain people were leading the church. Those would be men, okay? The problem is the Bible, or spirituality, is a right brain function, okay? The right brain is the emotional, creative, spiritual brain. Jesus said, look within. His pupils were dilated. Look within is a right brain internal phrase, okay? When your pupils dilate, that's how you know you're in the right brain. There are certain words that are internal language or right brain language. And when you read the Bible, well, this is all stories, metaphors, etc., which are right brain. And then you listen to Jesus' words, like this is all right brain. So if you're reading it from the logical left brain processor, that'll change the words to give it a different meaning. If you read it from the right brain, that's the correct processor and language to understand the Bible, especially the teachings of Jesus. In other words, you want to speak the same language that you're reading. So if you use the right brain, you're on the right path. Now, really briefly, the left brain is the division brain. And that's literally what it does. That's why it's really good looking under microscopes. When you do a microscope, you're testing things. You want to get rid of all the impurities, which is minusing. The left brain is about minusing, dividing, and separating. So with a microscope, you want to put clean water. You want to get rid of all the impurities because you want it to be pure. So you have to negate all of reality. So you get rid of, like, the water's supposed to be something like 99.6% pure or 96.9% pure, something like that. I don't remember. Otherwise, it can throw the test off. Well, that's not real life. That's a test. That's a small portion, a very tiny microscopic portion. What I'm really saying is the left brain divides and minuses and takes away from. So a left brain person will read the Bible. Now you hear these guys in church all the time. They will argue to death because they say, well, yeah, but in the book of Revelation, chapter 2, verse 3 through 13, it says blah, 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 blah. Well, yeah, but in the book of Genesis, chapter 4, verse 7 through 9, it says blah, 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 blah. It's like, here's what they're doing wrong. They are separating verses. Like literally, like they're separating them and then they're putting them verse A versus verse B. No, that's a very microscopic, scientific way of looking at things. The right brain is the addition brain. 1 + 1 = 2. 2 + 2 = 4, and on and on and on. In other words, the right brain uses the addition language, multiplication, addition. It adds things and multiplies things together. In other words, when you read the Bible, you don't separate the verses. You don't separate the books. You take each verse in each chapter, in each book, and you connect them and add them together like pieces of a puzzle. Only then will you finally see the bigger picture and understand the Bible. And you want to know who's really, really good at that? Women. See, the logical left brain, you understand these are processors. The left brain is very much like the old IBM computer. It's the linear processor. In fact, they used to call it Linux, okay, L-I-N-E-U-X. So linear is L-I-N-E-A-R. Linear means L-I-N-E-A-R. It means to go in a line. So that processor processed in a straight line. The right brain, or the Apple computer's processor, in real life, it's more of a non-linear, which means circular processor. And men will think, oh, women, they're just so, they speak in all that circular logic. And I'm like, yeah, hold on, you're right. You're acting like, what do you mean? Because to men, only linear logic makes sense. Well, yeah, because they don't know how to use the right brain's processor. But once you do, all of a sudden, women make sense. At the very least, you can understand their communication, because you can communicate in the same way using the same processor, using and speaking the same language. The right brain is the internal language, the left brain is the external language, and Jesus was speaking the right brain internal language. Look within. When you go further into your right brain, your pupils dilate and get larger. Go look at a picture of Jesus right now. Right brain. Now the left brain processes through rules, structure, and organization, okay? That's like a filter. So when you take words and filter them through the left brain, what do you think it's going to process them as? As rules, structure, and organization. Thus, religion. The right brain processes through the 5 senses: see, hear, feel, smell, and taste. That's why the right brain is called the tree of life. The left brain is the tree of knowledge, the forbidden tree in the book of Genesis. So the forbidden fruit, or the tree of knowledge, is really just your left brain. Now what it really means is don't get stuck there. Well, narcissists block themselves off from their right brain. The right brain is the emotional, creative, spiritual brain. So when you're reading the teachings of Christ or God, what brain do you think you're supposed to be in? Yeah, the spiritual brain, okay? The problem is, because men were physically stronger, and that's who ruled the world for thousands of years, we were taught the left brain process, because it processed through logic, of these ancient teachings. And they were teaching, okay, here's how to understand it. These are two different processors that give completely different meanings to the same word. So it's almost the opposite of learning a new language. So when you learn a new language, you learn their word, and what does that word mean in your language so you can understand it. So hola means hello. These are two different words that have the same meaning. With our brains, it flips it around to where you use the same word, but it gives it two completely different, separate meanings. So if you're speaking in English, let's say, okay, if a right brain, okay, so if we're speaking in English, if a woman says, say, 2 or 3 paragraphs out of her right brain and she's saying A, right? He will unconsciously bring it over to his left brain. This is what men do. They don't even realize they're doing it, but neither do you. It's an unconscious process. He takes all those words and filters them through his logical processor. He is not hearing what she's hearing. He's not feeling what she's feeling. In fact, he's not feeling anything because the left brain does not use feelings, emotions, or the 5 senses to process information. So she says A out of her right brain and means A, and then he processes it through the left brain, and it changes the meaning to everything she just said, and he swears to God she's saying B because he's hearing B. She's saying A, but he's hearing the opposite, B. And yes, this is my course for men, Crack the Female Code to save your marriage or meet the girl of your dreams. It will enhance your relationship like you will not believe. It's very hard for men, but it is very possible for you to learn how to do it. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because that teaching fell into my lap 30 years ago, and it combines with everything that I've been teaching about narcissist abuse. All I'm saying right now is this. If you're using your left brain to read the Bible, especially Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and the other spiritual chapters, you're not hearing what it's saying. And the problem is, men have been leading the church and the world saying this is what it means. Now here's the thing. Women for centuries, thousands of years, even a girl now that's being born and she's like 10, 12 years old, oh yeah, this is what Jesus said and it means that. And a pastor will go, no, that's not what it means. And her whole life she'll be corrected by men saying, no, it means this over here. And her brain goes, oh, okay. And it makes her doubt herself. And the fact of the matter is, ladies, you were right all along. Okay, I'm going to give you an example. Okay, so I've actually done this with you guys in the past, but let's do it for fun for those of you who haven't done it, okay? Okay, here's what I want you to do. I want you to take your finger, your right hand finger, or if you're left-handed, take that finger, point your finger, and here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to ask you something. The minute I say it, you got to instantly point it. If you stop and pause and think, it doesn't count. If you don't do it instantly, it doesn't count. It's got to be automatic. Are you ready? I want you to point your finger immediately after I ask this question. Ready? Here we go. Ready? Where's God? Point now. So here's what I've noticed. I've done this for 30 plus years. 100% of the men point outside of his body, external, because the left brain processor is the external processor. Men think externally. The right brain, the female brain, is the internal processor. Every single woman, this is what she'll do. She'll point immediately inside her heart or her solar plexus area, and she'll stop and think, oh no, it's outside. because that's what she's been punished. In fact, they'll even do it like, oh shit, I'm going to get punished, because they have been verbally punished when they were little girls. No, God's outside. I remember as a little boy, young girls constantly being told by the teachers in the classrooms, in the churches or whatever, like, no, God's out there. And I've seen this a dozen times. And every woman I worked with will do that. They'll point inside and stop. Oh shit, it's, I got tricked. No, you didn't get tricked. You're correct. Here's what Jesus says. The Lord resides within the temple. He also then says, the body is the temple of the Lord. Jesus also says, look within. So when Jesus says the Lord resides within, that is a right brain internal language. Okay, it means to go inside your emotions, inside your body, inside your feelings. Jesus also says, look within, another internal right brain language. All I'm saying is I'm trying to get you to understand that these are two different processors that are completely radically different as the IBM computer's processor versus the Apple computer's processor. They process differently and they speak two different languages. If you try to connect them directly without a translator in between, they won't understand their languages, they won't understand each other. Just like the left male brain and the right female brain. These are different brains, different languages, different processors. Okay, so what is my purpose for sharing all of that once again? It's to help you to understand something that Pastor Rex couldn't break down. Here's what he kept telling me. He goes, Michael, how many times have I told you to stop listening to the people in the pews? Now that I have the knowledge and experience I have now, I can understand why. Because they will misread the Bible and misunderstand the Bible. And I'll go to Pastor Rex and say, but wait a minute, that's not what it means. He goes, yeah, I know. He goes, Michael, you're right. He goes, Michael, stop listening to the people in the pews. Here's why. They're separating. They're using the left brain, the divider, the separator brain, just like the scientist does. And they're separating the verses and the chapters and the books. You need to add things together. See, when you add, okay, there was this old guy in the church, and he had his doctorate degree in biblical studies, and he was a very logical guy, and everything to him was about rules, structure, and logic. It was all about logic and rules. Very egotistical guy. And this was the most disconnected guy I've ever met in my life. And here's the thing, not a single person in that church could relate to him. And we all kind of put up with it. He was loud, and I'm right, and everyone's wrong, which is, again, that's the either-or mentality, which is the left brain mentality. It's either A or it's B. If you're right, that means I'm wrong, so I got to prove that you're wrong. This guy would go in circles and circles, and you're looking, and I remember as a young man, I was just like, this guy he doesn't even make any sense. And a lot of his theories didn't add up. And like, listen to the word, didn't add up. I'm telling you, when you connect every single verse in the Bible like a piece of a puzzle to a bigger puzzle, the overall picture that you're going to see that God's spelling out to you is love. So what I'd like to say to women is start to trust yourself. Start to trust your first thought, your first instinct, your first intuition, your first understanding that comes to you. Like, what was the first thought that came up when you read something in the Bible? I mean, this was Jesus's biggest struggle trying to teach to people, especially the Pharisees and the Sadducees. And he would have these frustrating, have you guys watched The Chosen on YouTube yet? He would have these frustrating, like how can you not understand the parable or the metaphor, the story that I just shared with you? Like, and they would always turn it into rules, like, but isn't that breaking the Sabbath? And he's like, what farmer or what, I forget what they called him, but it was sheep, would let his sheep or lamb fall upside down in a ditch, and he wouldn't pull it out and save it. So they misunderstood the meaning and purpose for rules. Like, the purpose for rules were not designed to hold people down and limit them. But that's what the left brain does. It's all about control. I mean, go ahead and take a look at this. I am the left brain. All right. It says, let's see, I can't read from here. I think it says decisive, 011001011, logic, accurate, analytical, reason, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, practical, strategic, control. And then what's the word that is supporting the word control? Science. Science is all about having controlled environment. It's good for math. It's good for business. It's good for science, but it is not good for relationships. The left brain is good for business and science and that kind of stuff. The right brain is literally the emotional, creative, spiritual brain. It's also the relationship brain and the social brain. So let's take a look at that. It says, I am the right brain. And it says love. I'm sorry, but on my computer it's small. So it says love, poetry, art. It says free. Now here's interesting. In green it says freedom, passion, vivid, creative, yearning, peace. See, the left brain is always trying to compete. It's literally the A and B processor. There's a picture on the left that's A, a picture on the right B, and that's it. There's no other options and possibility. Where the right brain, even though it doesn't say on here, it's all about all the possibilities, like all the grains of sand on the planet. That's how many possibilities. All the stars in the known universe. That's how many possibilities. Whereas the left brain, it's either or. It's either A or it's B, and that's it. There's no, men will literally say there's no other possibility. Well, it's really good for testing things under a microscope, but it's not good for the bigger picture. It's not good for even a business as a whole. You've got to see it on the macro level, or you're going to be blind. So when it comes to the teachings of Jesus, at the very least, I can say, stop listening to people who are overly logic. Stop listening to the people who divide and separate. Okay, it's really simple. That guy in the church, he would just argue with other men. They would, oh no, that's not what it says. What I believe is, it's not about what you believe. It's a matter of, okay, let's say you had a puzzle and you've got a piece and you're trying to force it to fit here, but it's not fitting. That's because that's not where it's supposed to go. Where it's supposed to go is over here. Plop, it clicks right in, fits perfectly, smoothly, and easily. That's how life should be. And that's how easy it is to understand the Bible once you start connecting the pieces. See, the either-or mentality, it forces people into competition because they only see it. It's either I'm right or you're right. We both can't be right. It's the either-or mentality. Either you're right or I'm right. Either or. Imagine a rectangle put sideways in front of you, or a rectangle, and then you draw a line down the middle. This is it's a filter, and they filter everything through this filter. The whole goal of spirituality is to get rid of filters and to see things for the way they are. So this either or filter limits everything down to A or B, whereas the Bible, it's much more than down to two possibilities. It's a multitude of possibilities. It's a painting, it's a picture that you have to piece together, and when you do it, it's a beautiful picture. It's all about peace. It's about freedom. It's about passion. It's about love. It's about nurturing. It's a wonderful, wonderful place to be. And when people open up to the right brain, they suddenly go into peace because the competition, meaning the rectangle with the line down the middle making two equal boxes, that's disappeared. That's gone. And now there's no competition. There's no either or. It's just like, wow, I really like the style the way you do your art. I do it this way. Oh, that's really cool. How do you do it like that? It's not, my art's better than your art. Oh, my car's better than your car. All that stuff goes away. The either or mentality is gone. And that's how the earth is going to find peace. That's what Jesus was trying to get us to understand. Instead, it was passed on to me, and now I'm teaching it to you. I'm being cute, but also being true. I can hear either or mentality person saying, is he saying that he's better than Jesus? Getting all pissed off and angry. I'm just saying there's a much better way. It's much more peaceful, and it creates a lot of clarity, a lot of understanding. Now, let's talk about God did not fail. Okay, how did I say that? I'm going to go back to, hold on. It says, my God did not fail. There's actually a song I was listening to, and I heard that. Look, you really have to stop listening to those overly logical people that are stuck in their left brain. That was the whole point of the book of Genesis when it was talking about the forbidden fruit. Forbidden fruit is the left brain, and what it technically means is do not get stuck there. Make sure you keep the door open to the right brain so there's flow of information back and forth, because otherwise you're going to see everything as either or, right or wrong. This causes arguments, fights, divorces, wars, all of that. Torture, meanness, killing, stealing. Oh, well, I made up this rule, therefore I can take your house. You're like, wait, what are you talking about? You made up you made up a rule and you can take my house? Wait, what? You didn't pay for this house. I did. It doesn't matter according to the law. And a lot of people, and that's how left brain either or people look at life. Well, the law says I can do it, so I'm going to do it. It's completely wrong. It doesn't matter to them, because that's the only way they can view life. And that's what makes a narcissist a narcissist. This is why they feel justified in destroying your life. And you're like, but I didn't do anything. They don't care. They found a rule, they found a loophole, and they're going to take advantage of it. And therefore, they feel justified in doing it. So narcissists have for sure infiltrated not only the church, but they have twisted the teachings in the Bible, as we spoke before. It does not say, when you look at the original language, the Hebrew language, it does not say fear the Lord your God with all your heart and all your soul. Because people say, oh, do you fear the Lord your God? No, the word that was translated was completely mistranslated. The word that was taken from the original writing from Hebrew, it meant to revere, to admire, and to seek shelter under God, because God will protect you. But people in the church, oh, do you fear the Lord your God? Here's what it says in the Bible. That's a complete mistranslation. And the fact that we have pastors and ministers that went to college to get their master's and doctorate degrees, or even bachelor's degree, and they're still teaching this false teaching, something wrong with that. Now, let's complete this whole thing with the beginning, where I talked about God views you as this beautiful, heavenly lit child with this heavenly light around you that's glowing and emanating. Your eyes are cute and beautiful and just wants to hold you, protect you, and love you, and make you happy. All right, so here's the deal. We have to go back, all the way back to the very book of Genesis, the first chapter 1, whatever. It's, when it talks about the void and there was nothing, etc., and God said, let there be light, and therefore there was light. God said, let there be this, and there was that. In the beginning, there was absolutely nothingness, and here's the word, but void. That void is the Garden of Eden. This is where you create. Adam and Eve, and let's say there was other children in the garden. They were just creating things. They were just like zapping, like, oh, Shazam, I created the new bird. Zap, oh, I created a bridge. Oh, I created an artwork. I created the song. It was all about manifesting. That's what it was all about. So when we fell into sin, now what is sin? Sin is when you get into a state of fear, emotional state of fear, and the artery in the lower reptilian brain narrows and closes, and it cuts you off from your right brain, which takes you out of the Garden of Eden. This is where we got separated from God. Sin is not rules. A lot of you listen to those rules. Oh, you got to understand, these people make up the rules. I mean, go to one church. I promise you, those rules are going to be different than the church 2 blocks down the street, even if they're both non-denominational Christian churches. Now let's go to the Baptist church. I promise you, they will have different rules. And every church has, I forget what it's called, but it's usually by the front door of the church. I can't remember the name, but it's a set of rules that the things that they believe, like God is the Trinity, or God is the single, the one. Some churches believe God is 3. Some people believe God is 1. They have all kinds of different beliefs. Wait a minute, aren't these both Christian churches? Yeah. Beliefs block you from God. God is saying, look, enter the garden, open up that artery. See how you do it is by meditating, deep breathing techniques, which I teach, internal awareness techniques, which I teach. And remember, what did Jesus say? Look within, because that opens you up to your right brain. These internal awareness techniques are what Jesus meant when he says, look within. How do I know this? Because I meditated for many, many, many years, and all of a sudden, I had, you see it clearly, like, wait, that's what it means. And then when you do the internal, I'd been teaching these techniques for years, but then one day I'm reading the Bible, like, wait, Jesus said, look within. I looked at the eyes of an image, and like, wait, his pupils are dilated. When you do the internal awareness techniques, it dilates your eyes. When your pupils are dilated, that's how you know that the artery is wide open and blood's flowing up into the larger human brain, the left and right brain. That's how I know someone is a fully functioning being who is at atonement, which means to be at one. Left, right, and lower brain are open and functioning together as one unit versus they're separated. See, that's the whole book of Genesis, is you don't want to close off from your right brain, the tree of knowledge. You don't want to get stuck there because now you're separated from yourself. Your right brain literally is connected to yourself. Yourself is where you feel in your solar plexus, your heart, in your chest, and your belly area. That is yourself. You need to connect with yourself. Yourself is God. So if you don't believe in yourself, you don't believe in, what did I say? Inwards, internal language, look within God. Again, what did Jesus say? The Lord resides within the temple. The what? Within, that's another internal language word. Within the temple. And then he says the body is the temple of the Lord. So where do you think the Lord God is? Inside you. He's inside all of us. This is why narcissists teach you and punish you not, N-O-T, not to believe in yourself. Because then you would be believing in God and connecting with God, and you would begin functioning on a higher level. Now, when I say believe within yourself, inside yourself, I don't mean from your ego. And that's the thing, is you have to learn how to drop your awareness down inside. God speaks to you through your emotions and feelings. So it's that gut feeling, it's that intuition inside your body. You feel it. So if all of a sudden you walk in a store and all of a sudden you got anxiety and you don't know why, your body's saying, hey, get out of here. Someone hugs you and you get this really warm, comforting, loving feeling. Your body's telling you this is a good person to be with. What did the words just say in the lyrics? Whenever you are connected to yourself, the internal being inside, you feel alive. When I'm with you, I'm alive. That's what the lyrics are saying. I picked the right song, obviously. Because now you're open to your right brain. What did the image say when I showed you the brain? It was about freedom. It was about colors. It was about sounds and flavors. It's the tree of life. I feel alive. When you're in your right brain, you literally feel open and spacious. In other words, you feel mentally, emotionally, and physically and spiritually free. Okay, ladies, how many times have you heard men say it's black and white or black or white? Yeah, because the left brain is the black and white brain. It's either or. Screw that. We want all kinds of flavors. When I go to Baskin-Robbins 31 flavors, I get vanilla, strawberry, and chocolate ice cream. Whereas a man's like, you can't do that. It's either vanilla or chocolate. And you're like, why? There's 31 flavors. I actually saw a husband yell at his wife, you can't do that. And she's like, why? So he got vanilla on a regular cone. She got a chocolate covered sugar cone. She got a scoop of vanilla, a scoop of strawberry, and then she got a scoop of something raspberry freaking chocolate something, and then she got chocolate syrup dripped down it, and he got sprinkles, and she's ordering this, and you could see him steaming. Now my goddaughter was with me. She was like in 10th or 11th grade, and she's looking at me grinning like, I know, right? See it, here it comes. Because she's heard me teach this either or mentality that men tend to get stuck in. And she's like, oh God, he's gonna get pissed. I'm like, he's gonna blow his leg. He goes, you can't do that. And he screams at her. She's like, why? Because they were obviously wealthy people. It wasn't a money thing. And she goes, why? And I remember looking at her like, what the hell is he going to say? He goes, you just can't, because you can't say it's either this or it's that. So my goddaughter Cindy started cracking up, and I'm like, Cindy, shut up. And so, because this dude was pissed. But here's what happens. The left brain is stuck in this either or mentality. Well, it's either A or it's B. You can't do both. And that's the thing, is it's either or. Well, she went beyond either A or B. She went A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L. She wanted everything. And it's kind of like, well, why not? And see, now here, okay, watch this. The people that tend to get more of what they want out of life, they are operating off of their right brain about options and possibilities. Like, well, I could do this, I can do that, and I can, and you'll hear their words say 1 + 1, this plus that, this and this, I want that, and. This is addition word. This means plus in math, okay? The word times means multiplication. The word is, it literally means, the definition is the word equals. So there's an actual language that has actual meanings. So the left brain uses the word but. The word but negates or minuses anything that's said before it. So if you say, hey, can you do the, I really want you to do the dishes, but blah, blah, blah. Or no, let's say they say, I love you, but can you do the dishes for me? They literally just said, I don't love you, do the dishes. Another tactic that people do to negate you, let's say you say, well, blah, 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 blah. They will start out their sentence, which is completely inappropriate linguistically or language-wise. They'll say, but blah, 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 blah. So what they just did is they negated whatever you just said, and it makes you feel frustrated, but you don't know why. You're just getting more and more angry. So whenever someone starts out their sentence with but, I would get away from them because they're a really negative person. These are the people that will say no, not, can't, won't, shan't, but. This is the left brain speaking to you. Very negative. It's not supposed to be used in social situations such as parties, church, etc. The right brain is the social relationship brain. You're supposed to be in the right brain, which adds things together and it makes people feel good. See, when you're in your left brain and you're using the word no, not, can't, those are all negations, right? It makes people feel like you're taking away from them. You're taking away from their thoughts. You're taking away from them energetically, emotionally, etc. When you use the word and, it feels like you're adding to them. You're adding to what they said. It makes them feel a lot better. Start using the word and. The reason why you want to start using the word and is because you connect through God through your emotions and feelings. Your right brain is the emotional processor. When you start saying one and 1 equals 2, you and me can do this. See, even the word can is a right brain word. This and that, you and me, we can plus. See, the words like and, plus, both, more, connect, etc. These are all connecting additional words where you're connecting and it's equaling more. This opens you up to the right brain, and this is how you connect to God. God is not logic. God is emotions, God is feeling, God is spirit, God is open, and God is free. So when you open up to this world of the right brain, you're opening up to the spirit world. You're opening up to the Garden of Eden. You're opening up to this garden where it's all about nurturing, it's all about producing, it's all about creating. And that's probably what the real word is. God said, let there be light, and Shazam, there was light. This is where you manifest from. Now here's the other thing. You're coming from the brain of purity and love. From the right emotional brain. See, because what happens is instead of narrowing everything down to A or B, like, whoa, shit, there's a piece of food, I have to kill you in order to get it. This is the reptilian fight or flight brain in action. And a lot of you gotta have rules, because otherwise we're going to kill each other. No, only people that are stuck in the left and lower reptilian brain are like that. People that are in the right brain are not like that at all. We're all about, hey, how can I help you? How can I help you? Hey, if we add this together, what did I say? Add this together, we can get more for each other. And in both, plus and more. That's my mantra. You want to open up to your brain? Say that mantra over and over while every now and then taking a deep breath in your nose, holding it for 5 seconds or more. And just say, and in both, plus and more, yes, yes, yes. And in both, plus and more, yes, yes, yes. And in both, plus and more, yes, yes, yes. If you do that for 7 minutes, 3 or 4 or 5 times a day, I promise you, you're going to feel a lot better. God was always about freedom. The problem is we got these left brain people making all these rules. It's like, well, whose rules are we supposed to follow? The United Kingdom, the Church of the United Kingdom, the Church of, Christ, the Church of this, the Baptist Church, the Lutheran Church, the You know, it's like they all have different rules, and they all say you're going to hell because you're not following their rules. Like, all of these rules were man-made. This literally is the left male brain, the man brain. This is what the man brain does. It makes up rules, and it won't stop. It's out of control. The left brain was never supposed to be the ruler. The right brain was always supposed to be the ruler. The left brain was supposed to be subordinate to support the right brain. It was supposed to build the structure to give you more freedom, to give you more creativity. The way we're using it right now is in the minus sign, and it's limiting people. It's holding people back. It's blocking people. In other words, we're using it in the wrong direction. It was meant to create things that can give more freedom and more power and more creativity and more everything. So you got to understand, the left brain is all about either or, and it's all about using the language is can't, not, won't, shan't. So no matter what you say, they're automatically responsible. Well, you can't do that. That's not possible. Can't, not. Well, they won't do that. So when I get around people that use the word but, no, can't, not, won't, like a lot, it's like I'm not going to be around that person. Because what happens, it literally only takes about 7 to 10 minutes for your brain to go into that part of your brain, and you become negative right along with them. And all of a sudden you feel bad about yourself. You feel like you can't do things. You feel limited. Screw that. Happiness, freedom, abundance, prosperity. If you read the Bible, God is constantly talking about that. But if you go to church a lot, I bet that's not the way you feel. I bet a lot of you feel like, oh, money's the root of all evil. It does not say that. It says the love of money, as if you put above your happiness, above your family, above your health, above your creativity, above your joy. Money has a very good place in life, okay? God wants you to be wealthy. God wants you to be prosperous. Read the Old Testament. God literally commands people to be wealthy, to live abundant. When God tells you to do something, it's not a request. You're God's children. He wants you to live a happy, abundant, wealthy life and a healthy life. He just wants you to be happy. He's saying, hey, go for it. See what you can do. See what you can create. Find out, what you're interested in. Like, go out there and do it. God bless you guys. I hope you enjoy this video. That's it. If you like this video, click subscribe, click the like button, go ahead and make a comment. And if you want, there's a PayPal donation link right there in the description box. Alright guys, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.